A few moments later.
What's up? What's up, Wolfpack? It's me, MYSTIC. I'm gonna watch some scary videos today, and I'm scared. I scratch myself, and hopefully I don't have a heart attack, cause can't none of y'all save me, and my door's closed. And they know I'm recording, so they're not gonna come in here for a little minute. Okay, so here we go. So, a college horror story. Alright.
It was an early morning. My campus didn't offer housing and I lived about a half a mile from school, so I started my journey as usual while playing on my phone. I glanced up to see an old man heading towards me on a bicycle. Normally, I'd step aside to let bikers and skaters pass, but he braked instead. I stopped too, wondering if there was something wrong. He walked up to me and said,
"Don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you."
I felt chills instantly. I didn't know what to think. I just looked up at him.
I'm sorry, but you're not finna walk up to me after you get off a bike and you're older than me and taller. Look at the nose. Look, my eyes are watering. Hold on, wait, for real. I'm feeling it. Like, I feel like he's finna get attacked. You're not finna tell me I'm not gonna hurt you. That's what my mama used to say when she was gonna whoop me. I'm not gonna hurt you, come here. And we all know what happened. Like, come on. Nah.
Fearful and confused expression. I was gathering up the courage to tell him that I was late for class and I should go, but before I could say anything, he said,
"Get off the grass!"
Looking down, I noticed I had stepped over towards the road and onto the grass. I stepped off slowly and he said,
"You wouldn't want to step on any bugs or get your shoes dirty now, would you?"
He raised his finger and asked me what my name was. I told him, and he replied,
"Don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you."
The same chills ran through my body again, but before I could say anything, the man said,
"Get off the grass! You wouldn't want to step on any bugs or get your shoes dirty now, would you?"
I looked down to see that I was back on the edge of the sidewalk again. This had to be deja vu. He asked for my name once more. I said my name again, but he interrupted me before I could finish. He told me his grandchildren are down the road and needed gas money. I told him I didn't have any spare change, or any change at all for that matter. He continued to ask me again, and I gave him the same answer. Eventually, I headed towards my school. I turned to see if he was still there, but he was gone.
Oh, no!
As I was walking, I approached the intersection. There was a truck on its side. It must have tipped over while turning the corner.
Llama Arts, I'm not finna play with you. That's what I'm not gonna do. I thought something was gonna pop out the back of that truck. Okay. Next. My heart beating all fast. Okay, for real.
A few moments later.
I'll watch this one. Okay, I started it.
3 months after I turned 16 in 2005, I got my first car, a '99 Toyota Camry. On a warm Saturday night, when my friend Alex invited me over to one of his friend's big parties, I knew I wouldn't be in a condition to drive the Camry home afterward. So we carpooled with Alex's girlfriend, Brianna. We lived in the countryside of Virginia, meaning less big parties. Meaning when there was a big party, it was a huge deal and everyone would go. We lived about 5 to 10 minutes away from this kid's house. I knew where he lived as I was acquainted with him, but not exactly as friends.
Out there, like, we don't
the
have
whole ride there, we took the same 2-lane highway type road through the woods, and this kid's house was actually on this road further down. At certain points on this road, there were a few houses on either side, and then it would just go back to being a long, empty highway again. The house was tiny, like a lot of houses around the area, but the party was held outside anyways, since his closest neighbors were relatively far away, and noise wasn't an issue.
Okay.
I'll skip most of the party up until the point that Brianna, who was supposed to be our designated driver, had to suddenly leave for a small family emergency. Alex said it was fine and that we'd find a ride home. Well, fast forward another few hours and another few drinks, and I could barely even walk straight. I checked my watch, and it was like 2 in the morning. I figured it was time to go. I started looking for Alex, but I couldn't find him anywhere. In fact, it seemed like everybody I knew had already left. I could barely even think straight, but I was still furious at the fact that Alex could have actually left without me.
He left you, bro?
I asked to use the party host's phone and dialed Alex's home number.
You don't got no cell phone?
After 2 tries, I gave up and then realized I shouldn't wake his family up. So, literally not knowing what else to do,
Let that be my
I
best friend.
busily stepped out onto the road and began walking back home.
Hello, no.
I knew this walk would take anywhere from half an hour to an hour in my condition. Maybe after 15 minutes of walking down the road, the slight shine of car headlights on the road was fading in from behind me. Jumping for joy inside, I lifted up my arm and stuck out my thumb. As the car neared, it slowed down and came to a stop right next to me. The man driving the '98 Ford Explorer rolled down the window and asked where you headed. I told him my house was just down the road and beyond a right turn, probably slurring my words beyond comprehension. He chuckled and told me to hop in. I thanked him and joyously hopped into the truck. I was exhausted, and I remember completely disregarding things the guy was asking me because I was so close to just passing out. And that's what happened. The memories of being in that truck turned to a fog, as I'm sure I passed out.
You went to sleep with somebody else's car?
The next thing I remember,
rude.
I woke up still in the moving truck. The guy looked at me and left, but didn't say anything. I looked around and realized the road we were on wasn't familiar. I nervously
he
asked,
kidnapped you.
where are we going? He then said, so what were you doing out this late anyway? As the man answered my very straightforward question with another irrelevant question, the sobering reality of the situation hit me.
He finna die.
You can let me out anywhere, I told the man. The man responded with a firm no. I felt like throwing up as he said that. No, I really actually felt like I was going to throw up. I started to gag as I felt more and more nauseous by the second. The man took his eyes off the road to look at me, and that's when I thought of the perfect distraction. I turned in his direction as I continued to gag, and he started to kind of lean away and slow down the car. Thankfully, I drank as much as I did because I finally threw up and made a point of doing it all over the man's lap. The man yelled in frustration and stopped the car, and that's when I took it upon myself to run for my life into the woods and duck behind a few bushes. The man came following into the woods with a flashlight, and on 2 separate occasions, he shined the light straight over me without noticing. Eventually, I heard his footsteps walk even further into the woods past me.
This is my whole thing.
That was when I ran.
I'm gonna pause this real quick. Okay, I don't go to parties. Okay, I don't party. I don't get chocolate wasted. I don't do none of that. So I get nervous when cars slow down next to me when I'm just walking outside. Okay, the fact that you stuck your thumb out because you needed a ride, and I hear you like your house was far, but I would rather walk there and know I'm gonna get there than to get in a car with a stranger. That's just for one. Okay, now let's say I might be a little loose and I don't, I'm not thinking right, and I do stick my thumb out. You don't go to sleep in somebody else's car. Who raised you? Like, don't, first of all, this is another grown man. I'm not finna go to sleep in your car, especially when I know you supposed to go straight and take a right, and he was close to his house anyway. You were close to your house, so you could have kept it moving, kept it pushing, just go straight and then turn right. And then he completely just keeps driving. And then when you start asking him where you going, he laugh, and then tell him to stop the car, he say no. Oh no, ma'am, that's tuck and roll. You better open that door and jump. What you mean no? Oh, you got my eyes started watering. I thought he was gonna get killed. Hold on, okay.
I ran back to his truck, but unfortunately he was smart enough to lock it. By some miracle, I saw another car approaching in the distance, and I ran out into the middle of the street, waving my arms like a lunatic. The car tried to avoid me, but I wouldn't let it.
Another car?
They were forced to stop, and I yelled at them to help me before they came back. Once I told them that I was kidnapped by the man who was driving that Ford Explorer, the driver agreed to give me a lift.
But you gonna get in somebody else's car?
Not to the police station or anything, but to my house. I made it back safely, where I couldn't thank the driver enough. I immediately woke up my parents and told them. My dad wanted to know if I got his tag number, and then I felt like punching myself in the face. I failed to get the simplest information from the guy that would have allowed me to actually properly report him. All I knew was that he drove a faded blue '99 Ford Explorer. I made sure to give Alex a piece of my mind, and part of me always held a grudge against him ever since, just for abandoning me at a party without telling me. I haven't seen him in 4 years now, however, and this was actually the first time I even thought about this incident for almost a year now. As time goes on, even the worst of memories may start to fade, but after writing this to share with the internet, it's once again fresh in my mind.
Yeah, alright. Nope. Fresh in my mind, my butt. I'm not doing that. Daryl's.
There used to be a pond about half a mile away from my old house that I would commonly go fishing in. It was nicknamed Daryl's Pond. I still have no idea who Daryl was or why it was called that, but nobody owned it, so people would once in a blue moon go fishing there as well. It was usually me by myself though.
I wish we had a pond.
I had dug a pole into the ground where I would tie a noose to and from my small kayak. I'd say it was about 3 in the afternoon when I rowed out to the middle of the pond, the sweet spot for getting a decent catch. There was another person coming out from the trees. I waved at him and gave him a smile. He hopped into a small boat floating by the edge of the pond and began to row over to me. As he got close enough where trying to speak to him wouldn't come off as obnoxious, I gave him a friendly, "Perfect day, isn't it?" "Yes, absolutely," he said. He didn't say anything after that, and I started to feel a bit awkward, as if I were obligated to keep some kind of conversation rolling now.
And you don't know what to say next.
You come out here to throw some lines? I asked. "No, I don't actually fish."
Then why are you there?
Well, it's never a bad day to relax on the pond, I said. He continued to row closer to me until his boat collided with mine, creating a big thud. I was genuinely uncomfortable now. I didn't feel threatened, just weirded out.
Pause. Fuck my boat again, we all have a problem. I'll slap you with a fish. Anyway, I can't personally swim. So if you thud my boat and I feel like I'm finna die and I panic, it's gonna be a problem. Like, you're not even fishing. What you here for? Like, you don't have to row next to me to see the scenery. Move. Back up. You don't have to be in my area like that. Like, row your boat the other way. How about it? Go it. Move.
Now, I didn't feel threatened, just weirded out. I was only 24 years old. This guy looked like he was late 40s or 50s. There was an awkward silence.
You go just sit there after
I tried to just act like I was focused on trying to make a catch, but by now that wasn't even on my mind. This guy was weird. I didn't know what he wanted, and I was uncomfortable being so close to him. I felt him looking at me, or at least in my direction, as I faced halfway to the opposite direction of him. I took a quick glance to my right. Yeah,
Bruh,
He was
nope.
staring at me. I decided to be ballsy and lock eye contact with him. After about 4 seconds, he looked away. So, where are you from? I asked him. Up there. He pointed behind himself, in the direction of the woodsy hill leading past the dirt road. Oh, you live by Suffolk? I asked. No, I'm not, he said. What made you decide to come out here? I said. Why not? I continued to
Why
try and
not?
uncomfortably fill the awkward silences that kept coming up.
Pause one more time. I'm not gonna try to carry a conversation with you if you're making me feel weird. Like, I'm really good for that. I'm weird in general already. So if I feel like, if I'm like, oh, nice weather, isn't it? Nice weather, huh? Okay, then don't answer. Like, I don't want to talk to you anyway. And then you being sarcastic. Oh, what made you come out here? Why not? Okay.
His responses were dry. He didn't contribute anything to what was barely a conversation. He just sat there not doing anything with half a smile on his face, looking either at me or in my general direction throughout.
There was nothing behind
I
you.
was
Honey.
creeped
He
out.
was looking at you.
My heart was
Run.
racing at this point. I'd go as far as saying that I was nervous for my life. We were surrounded by trees in all directions in the middle of a pond. I started to row a bit closer to land, but in a very low-key kind of way, trying to play it off as me just trying to find a better spot to find some fish. I was horrified when I saw he was following me. What a great day, huh? I felt a shake in my voice. I got close enough to the edge of the pond where I finally told the man, I think I'm gonna call it a day. I turned to see his reaction. He was still staring at me, but his smile was gone now. I can't let you leave, he said.
Can't let me leave.
He lifted his flannel to expose a handgun sticking out of his jeans pocket.
Sucker!
As soon as I could process...
So you mean to tell me that because I want to leave, you gonna shoot me? You gonna shoot me? My man was just trying to catch some fish. He just wanted to go out on a pretty day. And you gonna come behind a tree trying to be funny, staring at me this whole time, not holding no conversation. You don't even know how to fish. And now you mad because I'm leaving? It's above me.
That's just what I was looking at. I dove out of the boat for land, ran the whole half-mile uphill through the woods back to my house, and locked every door and window as soon as I made it home. Blinds to the dining room window, leaving it open just a crack for peeking outside undetected. It started to get dark out, and I left every light in the house off, still peeking out to the front yard, making sure I wasn't followed. The time came when I finally decided I wasn't followed. I realize now, like you, that not calling the police immediately was a huge mistake.
Duh.
I kept my bedroom windows open to let the room air out. My bedroom was on the second floor, so I wasn't worried about being watched through the window. About half an hour after shutting the light and falling under the covers, I heard the sound of leaves crunching from outside. I sat up to hear it more clearly. It was definitely something walking around out there. Normally I would assume it was a deer or a bear. But after what just happened, I was still in paranoia mode.
A bear?
I sat up as still as a statue, except for my shaking out of fear, waiting as the sounds of the steps stopped. Hey buddy, you up there? Are you trying to sleep? Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. I felt like 100 pounds just fell directly onto my chest. It was the same voice. I knew it right away. I didn't make a sound. I crept out of the room, quietly downstairs.
You didn't mean a what? You didn't mean a what? Look, my eyes are watering. You know I'm scared. You didn't mean to what me? Huh? Meet me at my front door so we could talk. You didn't mean to scare me? Oh, sucker, you done lost your mind. You gon' threaten me to lift up your plaid ugly shirt and show me your gun? And then you gonna let me run away? First of all, this dude, like he said, he did make a mistake and not call the police, because I would have, as soon as I stepped in the house, hello, 911, can you help me please? Like, but you mean to tell me? But you mean to tell me? As soon as he said, hey, buddy, excuse you? All jokes aside, in this situation, I could talk as tough as I want to. I would have peed myself. That's why I don't want to live by my... That just scared me. Like, this is why I don't need to watch this type of stuff. That's why I don't want to live by myself. I cannot do it. If this was to happen to me, like if I heard somebody outside my window and they're like, oh, hey, girl. Let me just roll under my bed, call 911, and have my little brekeke right here. Just in case you walk in my room, I'm shooting your ankles off. And as soon as you fall on the floor, I'm gonna finish the job while the police on the phone. Like, I would be terrified, traumatized.
And grabbed the phone, practically crawling on my way out to avoid being seen through the open blinds. I called 911 like I should have earlier in the temporary safety of my bedroom. I made sure to whisper into the phone, as I was still hoping that he hadn't yet heard or spotted me. 20 minutes felt like an hour as I sat behind my bed, waiting for the police to arrive in constant fear that I would hear glass breaking from downstairs, or a thud on the back door, or even just a voice again from down below my window outside. The police did a thorough investigation of the property in nearby woods, turning up nothing. They suggested I stay with a friend or a family member for a few days, and so I did. I never heard from or saw the man again, but I still moved a month later. I couldn't deal with the constant fear and paranoia of being watched through my windows. I feel much more comfortable fishing out by the bay now.
That just scared the crap out of me. Why you put that at the end? Llama Arts. We gonna fight. Because these stories is scary enough. Okay? But you gon' put like little scary pictures at the end. You think you funny? Okay. Okay.